Oh, don't you just love technical?
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Thoughtful Thursday. I am Barbara Ellison, and I am a transformational life changer. I can't even talk this morning, so let's just start over again. No, we're not going to start over again because you know what? This is life.
Real and raw.
Real and raw. We're authentic, But I'm Barbara Ellison. I'm a transformational life trainer, working at aging gracefully because it's not about trying to look like a 30-year-old. It's about trying to live your best life ever and having the best version of you and having the physical and financial and just the mental fitness in order to do that. So we are going to be chit-chatting about making the rest of your life the best of your life. And right now I'm going to be just prim and proper and introduce my good friend and buddy and co-host, Carol. Hi, Carol.
After she took all my taglines.
I did. What did I do?
I'm Carol Henderson, and I have Life by Design, and I help you to make the second half of your life better than the first. And so you'll hear me say on the show all the time, you want to spin up or do you want to spiral down? And we have a wonderful guest coming on today that helps us learn and know how to do that. And so reach out to us if you have any questions. Be sure to share this with your friends and family, because that's what we're here for, is to make your life better. So I want to invite Amy to tell us a little bit about her stuff. She has a great story.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's amazing how aligned we all are working with women in the second half of their life to make that the best. Absolutely, is what I've been doing for myself. So it makes sense that I would then try to help other people as a coach. So I live on an organic farm in Vermont, and I call myself a sustainability lifestyle mentor, coach, and retreat leader. So retreats I do on the farm in the summertime, and coaching and mentoring year round. And particularly interested in helping women and some heart-centered men create their best life that's also eco-friendly. So that's been a big passion of mine for over 30 years, the whole green living stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we're going to start out with a little fun question. And, it's going into fall. So if you had your choice, ladies, okay, so this is going to be an either or and then a plus Y. So if you had your choice, would you rather carve a pumpkin or eat the pumpkin seeds? Who wants to be first and why?
Well, I'll go first because I think Amy will have a litlittle bit to add to it.
Oh, okay, perfect.
We, just so y'all know, she gave us the questions ahead of time. I'm gonna throw all three of us under the bus there.
Well, hey, I started out with not knowing how to talk, so I mean, let's just tell it like it is.
Yeah, I'm all about authenticity.
Yeah, that's what this show is about, having fun. And like I say all the time, it's like when women used to send their kids to school and they were still home and they would sit around the coffee table. I hope y'all brought your favorite beverage with you, okay, so that you could enjoy just like those days. They would sit around and they would tell each other their problems and solve their problems and basically make everything right with the world. And then they went to work and then they got shut down. And this is kind of the 2022 version of around the coffee table after the kids have gone to school. Yeah. So we're kind of trying to bring that back and bring that vibe of helping each other solve problems and learn more about life and how to fix life. And that's what this show's about. But mine is, number one, I don't carve pumpkins. And so, but I do.
How do you get the meat out if you don't carve a pumpkin?
I don't carve faces on pumpkins.
Oh, okay. Well, there's now, see?
Okay. I don't carve faces on pumpkins. I do cut them open and I do take their guts out. Because we, for years, well, in fact, when we lived in town, we have not done it since we've been up here on the lake as much, because there's not as many pumpkin places out. and you have to time it just perfectly to do this. But when we lived in town, we would we would talk to the pumpkin place owners ahead of time, and we would go on November 1st, or either very, very late after, after
Oh,
they
so after Halloween.
yeah, after they were through selling that night, and take their pumpkins. They loved it because if we didn't, a lot of them get smashed and stuff like that and make a mess. They had to clean up. So we would go bring, we're talking a whole backyard full of pumpkins, and we had 3 boys, and what we would do is we would cut them out, get all the insides out, clean the seeds, and roast them. And so I have to say, roasting the seeds, they are very, very healthy. And Amy may tell us more about this, but especially for the man in your life, it's very, very healthy for him, especially in the area, if I remember right, the prostate.
Yes.
Okay. But anyway, so we would, and we would have just jars and jars and jars of seeds that we had roasted and salted. And, you can't eat them raw. You can do them that way. You can salt them and just dry them. There's all kinds of ways. But back then we preferred them roasted. Last year, I think we just ate some raw. We didn't have a lot, but nothing like we did when we used to go get 100 or more pumpkins. But yeah, we have. I was telling Amy, we have them growing all over a fence, and I need to take a picture of it, because normally they sit on the ground, and these have grown up a fence, and they're small little pie pumpkins. They're not the great big 30-pound things. They're small, but they're beautiful little pumpkins.
Yeah.
And the vines are dying back, so you're seeing them better. I kind of wish I'd gotten a picture when the vines were still bright and green. But anyway, so Amy, what is your favorite way to?
So I prefer eating the seeds, but I do like them roasted as well. They are really good for pets too. If you give them to your dogs, they're anti-parasitic.
Really? Oh,
yep. So that's
I'll
a good,
have to do that.
good thing to add to your dog's food. I don't mind.
Okay, let me ask you.
Pumpkins to chickens.
Oh yes, chickens love them.
We feed it to our chickens.
Yes.
Now, I learn something new every day. So for my dog, should I grind them up or just let her eat them?
You might have better success grinded.
Okay.
I tried to feed mine, the whole seeds, and I can't remember. I think I mixed it in with other food, but I think it's easier for them to spit them out. So I think if you dry them and grind them, that probably would be the best.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so it's funny you should ask this question, because as I told you before we got on, part of what we grow on this organic farm here in Vermont is pumpkins. And that's actually how my partner Dave got his start 32 years ago, when he and his dad actually used to be dairy farmers. And when the government bought out the dairy herds because there was too much milk in the market, his dad decided to go become a logger, and Dave didn't want to continue with the dairy business. So somebody had handed him a handful of pumpkin seeds, and he actually tossed them over his shoulder, just like Jack and the Beanstalk, onto a manure pit. And he didn't really pay any attention to it until the greens died off, and he had giant orange pumpkins. And so he put them out on the porch of his house, which is right on the roadside. And people started to drive in, and they wanted to take pictures. And then some store owner wanted to buy them. And he thought, ooh, that's interesting. People buying pumpkins, because he was in school at the time doing marketing. And he left the pumpkins, with a money basket on the honor system. And it was so popular that he plowed up the whole backyard and grew a ton of pumpkins the next season, and actually financed his college degree with pumpkins. And that inspired him to start this fruit and vegetable stand that we operate.
That is such a good story.
Isn't that wild? I tell it to my tour people too. So I do tours on the farm.
That is neat. You didn't tell us that when we met.
Oh, well, I have faceted background.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
That is very cool.
Thank you.
So now how did you? I'll backtrack for a moment, but then I'll ask you the next thing. For me, I like cream of pumpkin soup.
Ooh.
A friend of mine used to make it and bake the whatever she made the soup with in they would be just the little pumpkins.
Oh, neat. And that
And
was
so
like a soup bowl?
and so then that was the soup bowl.
Ooh, nice.
Do you have a recipe?
I would have to call her and ask her.
Well,
Please
that I
do.
would make that.
Please do.
But she
That sounds
baked them
great.
in the oven.
I'm
She
writing that
made the
down.
soup and baked and then baked it in. I bet there must be a recipe probably if you looked up
Oh, I'm
on
sure.
Well, but
Just
we want
Googling it.
hers.
allrecipe.com or whatever.
Yeah, we want her recipe. Then we could
It
put it
was
in the chat notes.
Ooh,
it
that would
was
be cool.
so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yummy.
But yeah, and we would walk in and it was like, oh, Elizabeth is making pumpkin soup, and you could smell it. Smelled, I mean, it was a cross between like pumpkin pie, you know, but
Yeah.
it was
So
soup.
did you
It
put
was
cinnamon
so
and
good.
all the pumpkin-y spices
No,
in it?
no, that's
No.
why it smelled a little bit. You could smell the pumpkin, but it was
Ah,
like a cream. It was like a cream of pumpkin soup.
I'm
You
gonna
have
have to look
got to
that up.
call her. You've got to call her. It's
I'll
time
ask
to
her.
reconnect.
I'll ask her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
yeah, it was so good. So good. And I had never had it before. And I went like, you're making what? You know, cream of pumpkin soup. And I had never had it. But oh yeah, it was so good.
I
So
see
good.
your assistant has joined us.
And our mascot is here. Yeah, I've tried to keep her out. Well, I'll tell. One day I put it so that she couldn't get in. So Carol and we were on a podcast. I don't remember what our guest's name was.
I don't remember.
And then all of a sudden we both just started to laugh because my virtual background started to sync.
Oh no. That's funny.
Her room was melting.
My room was
just
melting.
the two of us on.
And it was because because Tripod wanted to get in.
Tripod is the
And
name?
so her name is Tripod.
Oh my God.
She's missing a leg.
Aw.
And so she was just trying to get in, and I just said, oh well. And so Carol and I just started to laugh because there was nothing we could do about it.
Aw.
We were just watching it sink.
I think it was on our Monday motivations.
Or maybe it was I know it was on one of the shows.
So that wasn't like an option laughed. To start over.
Yeah. We just we were live. Yeah. And we just oh well. So now she's just sitting beside me, and then she'll, but she's like, I swear she knows.
Every now and then.
Every once in a while, you'll see her tail come through.
Oh, that's cute.
So, but yeah, she's our mascot.
More about what you do, Amy.
Yeah,
sure. So
I want to know. We'll have to come for a retreat.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to.
So I'll tell you a little tidbit about the retreats that make it so unique. I came upon. Well, I had horses for almost 17 years. And then I discovered that you could actually use horses in a life coaching setting. And so I worked with another coach and offered some leadership type coaching with horses. And I even did it with the kids camps because I ran 3 seasons of kids camps. So in the personal growth and wellness retreats, each person gets an opportunity to go into a round pen, which is, like a round fenced in area with the horse and this wonderful horse trainer who I call a horse whisperer. And they have the opportunity to move that horse around them on the outside of the circle, and you change their directions so that you're basically telling them what to do. Well, over a period of time, and each horse is different, the horse gets tired, for one, but secondly, that horse doesn't want to be on the outside of that circle by him or herself. Horses, being herd animals, are much safer when they're with the herd. And so the herd at that point is just you and the horse trainer. And so they showed certain signs of, they drop their heads, they lick and chew, which is sort of a sign that they're understanding what's going on. And so when you see those signs, you then stop because you've got a lead rope that you've been sort of swinging to get them to move. But you drop the lead rope, you turn your back to the horse, and you drop your body posture. So you're completely relaxed, you're not a threat. And then the horse gets to decide whether they come up to you and join up. And so I have not seen one not join up with somebody, but you'll feel them probably sniff the back of your neck, or maybe they'll nudge your shoulder. And then as soon as they're there with you, you turn around and then you pat them on the head. And that's sort of a way of rewarding them to say, yep, you're invited to be part of our herd. it is such a magical experience. And there's more activities that we do with horses that really help people see themselves more clearly. It could be, horses are sort of like a mirror for us, right? They can even detect your blood pressure changes. They can certainly tell if you're scared. You know, a lot of times people will be around horses and they'll try to act tough, but the horse knows. And if you have a lot of thoughts and you're not present, you know, like if you're lost in your mind, the horses know. And so some horses will walk away because they don't want to be a part of your energy if you're, you know, really have a lot of angst. And I actually had a personal experience where I did a session, and it was this big white horse, little intimidating. And even though I was pretty comfortable with horses, I was a little bit nervous because he was running around the circle by himself like a crazy man. And so I said to my friend Janice, I don't really think I want to go in there with that horse. And so she said, okay, why don't you turn your back to the horse and let's just do some deep breaths. And so we processed what was going on for me at that point. And I had just come out of a very challenging health crisis with my daughter. And so I just chilled out and I, you know, sort of let go of what was going on. I turned around, the horse was just standing there looking at me. So I walked in and he just came over, sniffed me. He actually lay down and showed his belly to me, which is such a sign of vulnerability.
Right.
So the transformation was amazing to see. First, he's running around like a nut, and it was all because of my energy. Right. So as soon as I switched my energy, he switched his. Wow. So I mean, that's just one of many cool things that people have learned. I have a therapist friend that took a retreat that said she learned more in those 5 days than she had in like years of therapy herself. Right. So it's profound.
Right.
So that's one of the fun things.
Yeah, I think I was telling you, a friend of mine, that she does similar things, but she lives in California.
Yes.
But she said it is just absolutely amazing because she works with kids that are special needs kids.
Right.
So they have another set of issues.
Yes.
Of, you know, either they're physically or they're, you know, whatever, Down syndrome or whatever. Yeah. And she said, but they have profound effects.
It's amazing. And veterans have been doing work with veterans.
And veterans too. Yes. That they might be in a wheelchair because they've lost the use of their limbs, but they can still ride a horse.
Yes. It's really,
so it's incredible. It's like it gives them their life back again because they just,
that freedom.
It impacts everything. That gives them freedom.
Yeah. Wasn't it Ronald Reagan that said that there's nothing better for the inside of a man than the backside of a horse?
Oh, that's interesting.
It was either Reagan or Roosevelt. It was one of the presidents.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, Teddy Roosevelt, he was part of the Rough Riders.
Right. So, right. But I think it was Reagan that said it. Maybe because Reagan was quite the horseman himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so one of the other things that I'm really excited about is vision boards. I've been using vision boards. Have you guys used vision boards before?
I have. I resisted it for years because,
did you?
You know, being in the type of industry I was, even when I had the modeling agency and before that was an image consultant, you know, it's like, well, I've got all my goals in my head. I've got all, you know, and then finally I'm like, okay, in the Bible it says, write the vision, make it plain.
Right.
And so there you go.
Okay. And so I started in mine's a little different than a lot of people. One of my mentors had one that was so cool, and he would frame all of the things on his vision board, and they were on one wall.
Oh, nice.
When they came to pass, he moved them to another wall.
Oh, that's perfect. So that's definitely one of the tips that I teach people is once you've manifested that particular goal, then you can move it on to, you know, a gratitude board or whatever else you want to put it on, right? But I think I would not be living on a farm in Vermont actually without vision boards, because I'm a former New York City girl and I dreamt of living on a farm in Vermont. It was either Vermont or California. And so I had all these pictures on my vision board, and I used to live in Massachusetts in between New York and Vermont. And one of my friends remarked after I moved up here, she said, "Oh my gosh, you've gotten everything on your vision board." I had horses, I had dogs, I had a beautiful house in Vermont, and the farm. And so I feel like they're a beautiful.
You sound like a Hallmark movie.
Oh, that's so
Right.
fun.
But
Yeah,
I'm serious. You know, it's
thank
always
you.
the city girl that goes back and ends up with a Christmas tree farm somewhere or something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of green acres, which would have been the reverse of of what I am experiencing. But I just find that, most of us have heard of the law of attraction.
Right.
And I think one of the reasons why vision boards are so useful, and you have to know how to use them. You can't just slap pictures onto a board and then let it go and then think that that's going to do a whole lot. There's more to it than that, right? So part of it is getting really clear on what your goals are and why you want them.
Right.
Like, what will it do for you to have whatever that thing is?
Yeah.
And then beyond the clarity is using it as a tool. So I try to look at, I actually have mine up in the living room, and I created a joint vision board with Dave because we have so many of the same goals that we want to achieve together. He was like, well, can I be on your vision board too? So we're both depicted on there, and it's in the living room. And so I'm looking at it constantly, but they say the best time to look at it is 45 minutes before you go to bed.
Oh,
Because that
really?
is,
Oh, I'll
yep,
have
because
to
it's
do that.
programming both the conscious and the unconscious mind. And that's one of the reasons why it's so useful, is because the more we can visualize what we want, and especially programming that subconscious mind, that's where the beauty really is.
Well, our brain doesn't see in words. We think in words, but our brain sees pictures.
Right.
When you think about you say elephant, you don't necessarily see the word elephant. You see
That's right.
You see an elephant.
And even if you say don't think of an elephant, we still think of an elephant.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you can't think of anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so
one time a friend of ours, Sherry, she did a class on doing vision boards.
Oh, no kidding.
And one of the things that she said was, what, people, you don't have to have just one.
That's true. You can have different theme ones,
and
right?
Because like I have one for the man that I want to meet.
Ah.
But I also have one for an adventure farm that I want to have that's for kids.
Oh, neat.
But now you've just really given me an idea of that I want for my Asana Ranch, which is going to have a place for veterans, and it's going to have a retreat center and the adventure farm for kids.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I'm going to expand. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, I've got another idea for you.
This is why we bring guests onto our show.
I love it. So I have an idea for you as far as attracting the man.
Okay.
So what I did before I met Dave, and I actually met him on Match.com. He was the only decent person out of the people that contacted me. But before I got on there, I wrote out a whole list of everything that I was looking for, including blue eyes and brown hair.
Oh yeah, I got all that. I always
love that combination. Okay, good. So
Yeah.
I had a list before I met Keith.
No kidding.
I had a complete list, and Barbara's met him, and he has, especially when when we met, it was like, okay, check.
Yes.
Yep,
Even to the point I wanted somebody that could play the guitar and sing to me.
Ooh, that's pretty neat and specific.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And he did.
Very cool. Well, so I also teach vision board master classes. I'm restarting them actually. I think my next one is October 29th, which is a Saturday. And then I'm going to do a recorded version so it can be an evergreen so people can do it at their own pace.
That's cool.
But I like the live ones because those are interactive. People get to meet other people and ask questions, and Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I've taught them in person. I haven't done one on Zoom.
Yeah, so I had only done them in person before, but now I've added some new stuff. Like I do a future self visualization exercise, and then I've created some a deep dive form so that they can really get into their goals in a lot of specifics. And then I have, do you know EFT, emotional freedom technique, right? So I've got an EFT tapping video to follow along that's particular to vision boards. So I add these extra little tools, in it to make it even more useful.
Yeah. That is cool. That is cool.
And
I have a whole stack of things to put up on my manifested part of my board.
Oh, wonderful.
what I had hung them and they fell down when the floor was installed. He said, don't put those up before he puts the floor in. All the banging around will cause them to fall. Well, they did.
Oh, darn, he was right.
Yeah, no darn. But anyway, and I haven't rehung them. I was going to make Barbara help me do that when she was here, but we were too busy running and playing and having fun to do all the things we're going to do.
So, do either of you have a big goal? Well, you just told us one, Barbara, about this center that you're talking about.
Yep.
And how about
the
you,
Asana Ranch?
Well, at some point, we know that we will be traveling in ministry. And so a motorhome and an airplane are on my vision board.
Ooh.
I'm thinking, you know, we were both going, airplane, Lord, you want us to put an airplane on the vision board? Neither of us flies.
Oh, wow.
We don't have a pilot. And so, and
Yet.
Yes.
Yet.
And, you know, so it was like, okay, we'll do it. And we've had a motorhome before, you know, it's not like that it's out of the beyond the pale, but, you know, and so we have a picture of the one we would like. We, you know, we have different things like that, you know. Israel, we have not ever been to Israel. We want to go there. So I have a picture of the Wailing Wall, and it's, you know, next year in Jerusalem. And so there's things on my vision board that are pretty big visions.
Well, mine is sort of, one of mine is sort of like yours. We got the RV. I found this beautiful RV because we want to travel. And part of our goal is to be somewhere else in the winter. We absolutely love Vermont for spring, summer, and fall, but we don't love the cold. So our goal is to take the RV probably this winter down to Florida for the first time.
Well, you may want to change that.
If it's still there,
I know. We're going to go to Fort Myers.
Oh, well, I have a friend on Sanibel Island, and I saw pictures a little bit ago. It is gone, and I have not heard from.
Is that the one? That's the one that got wiped away?
Well, yeah, the bridges are out all over Florida.
Oh my gosh. I've seen TikTok videos people took of someone's house in Fort Myers, and you could see the ocean water coming in through the windows. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is terrifying.
A friend of mine lives down there, and we haven't heard from him.
You know.
Oh gosh. I know. Actually, Dave's oldest sister is down there in the western part of the state with her boyfriend, and I haven't heard from them either. And that's a little
there's no, all the phones are knocked out.
No internet.
Not that there's
no internet.
They don't. Well, Helen Racer, she and her husband formulated Limu, which is a product that I carry and stuff, and they're in Lake Mary. And she had texted earlier and said, I don't know if this is going to get out, you know, phone, internet, power, everything. She said they're the only ones around with power because they have a generator. They were prepared in that way. And she said, so I don't know if this will get out or not, but she posted on the group chat, and then she posted to me personally saying that they were okay, and their son was and his family were at their house also. So you know, I want to just say y'all pray for the people in Florida.
Absolutely, because I saw tornadoes, I saw bays that had no water. The water had just disappeared, and usually that comes back in a tsunami form. So definitely.
Well, and the thing is it's gone across Florida now, and then it's supposed to strengthen again and come back into South Carolina.
Oh no! Oh geez.
So that's
climate change is real.
Well, yeah, and
I mean, we've had hurricanes before, but they're saying that their strength is increasing, the frequency is increasing. You know, we don't know how long we're going to have coastal communities, really.
Right.
Sad.
Wow.
But anyway, I don't want to end on a note like that.
Exactly. I was thinking that. Not a good way to end.
So, Barbara, do you have any last minute comments that are upbeat?
You know,
exactly.
Enjoy yourself. This is a fun time of life.
Yes.
When you're going into your second half, because it's a choice. Choose to be at any point in life. Choose to be happy today. Yeah. And you know, the thing is, one of my mentors did a thing today was that, you know what, yes, it's fun to be happy, but what can you do today to make someone else happy?
Ooh, that's even better.
You can give them a compliment, or tell them that, you know, that you like something that they're wearing,
I
or
love doing that.
whatever.
Smile.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Smile at someone.
I have a
Yes.
happy story, a very short one. So
Awesome.
I gave a tour today, an older couple in their 60s from California. And as we were talking, the man told me that he had just run a 26-mile marathon last year, his first one. And he had only been running for a few years, but he's retired. And they both said how happy they were in their life. They said they have such an interesting life. They feel good. And I thought, holy smokes, this man just did a 26-mile marathon in his, late 60s or whatever he is. That is impressive.
Right.
And actually, his wife said she used to run when she was younger, but she couldn't do a marathon now because she took, there's too much damage that happens when you run a lot when you're young. But because he had started later in life, his body is fine. And I thought, that's really interesting.
Neat. And there, I think I've told you this before. My upbeat thing is that it doesn't matter where your body is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We live in the US. All three of us are in the United States. Yes. We have the best health care on the planet for emergencies.
For emergencies,
broken bones, car wrecks, falling off a ladder. You don't want to be anywhere else when that happens. However, healthcare as we have it in our country right now is a business. And what happens if the business doesn't have customers? So, good
point. They call it sick care instead of
that's why they call it sick care.
Exactly.
Yes.
Amy has
prevention is so important.
Yes. Yeah, Barbara talks on your mindset and how to speak positively. I have products and protocols and different ways to help your body heal. And so if you're on prescriptions, or if you have even bone on bone damage in your knees,
that was me.
Give us a call. Give us a call, because God made our bodies to heal. And if you give your bodies the right building blocks, free of the toxins, free of the junk. I mean, you can't run a marathon in your 60s and 70s on Twinkies and ho-hos.
Right. And these folks ate organic food too.
So I thought, yes, exactly. And so, reach out if you have questions. If you have any issues, we're happy to answer questions. Put it down in the chats. We check them, not daily, but we check them every now and then to see if somebody's asked a question. And one of the three of us will reach out and answer it. So we want to say thank you for coming on today. Make today better. Smile at somebody, and it doesn't matter what age you are. You can be 10 and you can make your life better, or you can be 80 or 100 and make your life better. So just be kind and reach out to others and help them to have a better life, and yours, it'll come back to you.
Well said.